Imagine this. You wake up one morning and the world feels wrong. The wind is howling. The oceans roar like 1,000 angry beasts. The ground beneath your feet trembles, and then it hits you. The Earth has stopped spinning. No warning, no time to prepare. A moment that changes everything. Forever. Welcome to INFO EXPANSE, where science meets imagination, and the impossible becomes real in our minds. Today, we explore one haunting question. What would actually happen if the Earth stopped spinning? Not in a million years, not gradually, but suddenly, in the blink of an eye. This is one of the most terrifying thought experiments in science. While astronomers and physicists agree that such an event is nearly impossible, the consequences of it help us understand just how fragile our planet's balance really is. Right now, even as you sit still, you're racing through space at over 1,600 kilometers and about 1,000 miles per hour. If you live near the equator, it's faster than a bullet train. We don't feel it, but it's there. If Earth's spin stopped instantly, everything not firmly anchored to bedrock would keep moving at that speed. Buildings would crumble, mountains of water would surge toward the continents, and you would be flung through the air like a leaf in a hurricane. Think of it this way. A car suddenly stopping at just 100 kilometers per hour can throw passengers forward with deadly force. Now multiply that by more than 16 times on a planetary scale. Skyscrapers, forests, even entire cities would be torn apart as the atmosphere and oceans kept moving, crashing violently into the now motionless land beneath. The first moments would be pure chaos, giant earthquakes ripping across the land, cities collapsing in seconds. But the disaster wouldn't end there. It would only be the beginning. Without rotation, our day-night cycle would shatter. One side of Earth would face the sun for 6 months straight, scorching under relentless heat. The other side, 6 months of darkness and unimaginable cold. Weather systems would collapse, winds would fade, rain would vanish in some places, while others would drown. And as the planet settled into stillness, even its shape would begin to change. Without rotation, the equator would lose its bulge. Oceans would slowly migrate toward the poles, flooding regions of the far north and south, while exposing vast lands at the equator that have been underwater for millions of years. Imagine new deserts forming where rain once fell, and frozen wastelands appearing where fertile farmland once thrived. Animals adapted to seasonal cycles would not survive this sudden shift. Ecosystems would collapse, food chains would break, and agriculture, the foundation of human survival, would be nearly impossible in such extremes. Our spinning planet powers an invisible shield, the magnetic field. It protects us from deadly solar radiation. If Earth stopped, that shield could weaken, even vanish. Without it, radiation from the sun would bombard the surface. Skin cancers would rise, electrical systems would fail, and the skies might shimmer with auroras in places they were never meant to be. Scientists believe Earth's molten iron core would eventually stop generating the protective magnetic field without rotation. This means every solar flare or coronal mass ejection from the sun could fry satellites, power grids, and communication networks. Our technology-dependent civilization would be left in ruins, while the atmosphere itself might slowly erode under the constant assault of solar winds. Could humanity survive this? Maybe. We could dig deep underground, build domed cities, create artificial suns for crops. But the truth? Most life on Earth would vanish. Civilization, as we know it, would crumble. Some scientists speculate that life could cling on near geothermal vents, deep in the oceans or underground. Humanity might survive in isolated pockets, relying on technology to recreate conditions of light, heat, and food production. But even then, survival would be brutal, limited to a fraction of our current population. There's another consequence often overlooked: the Moon. Earth's spin and the Moon's orbit are locked in a delicate gravitational dance. If Earth suddenly stopped, tidal forces would change dramatically. The powerful tides we rely on for coastal ecosystems would weaken. Over time, the Moon itself might drift further away or closer, causing additional instability to Earth's climate and oceans. Now let's compare two scenarios. If Earth stopped instantly, the destruction would be immediate, violent, and catastrophic, as we've described. But what if Earth's rotation slowed gradually over millions of years? In this slower scenario, life and ecosystems might have time to adapt. Days and nights would stretch longer and longer, forcing plants, animals, and humans to evolve or engineer ways to cope. Agriculture could shift to artificial lighting. Humans might migrate seasonally, chasing habitable zones of twilight between the burning day and freezing night. It wouldn't be easy, but it might be survivable. So, why doesn't Earth just stop? The answer lies in physics. Earth has been spinning since it formed 4.5 billion years ago, when dust and gas in space clumped together under gravity. Conservation of angular momentum keeps it rotating, and there's nothing in space powerful enough to stop it suddenly. Over billions of years, Earth's rotation is very slowly decreasing, thanks to tidal interactions with the Moon. But we're only losing about 1.7 milliseconds per century. In other words, Earth will keep spinning for billions of years more. If the Earth stopped spinning, it wouldn't be the end of the planet, but it might be the end of us. But here's a thought for you. What if Earth didn't stop suddenly, but slowed, gradually, over millions of years? Would we have time to adapt? Or would nature still win in the end? The truth is, our planet's rotation is one of the many invisible forces that make life possible. Without it, Earth as we know it would be unrecognizable. So next time you look at the sunrise or feel the breeze, remember, you are riding a world that spins silently, holding everything together. If you enjoyed this journey, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to join our growing community of curious minds. Until our next adventure, stay curious, stay inspired, and goodbye for now.